Hi, I'm Rick Patterson. Thanks for coming to my video today. Well, today we're going to talk about how to remove and replace a water heater. Okay, let's talk about some tools that you're going to need to do this job here. A water hose. First off is channel lock pliers. Second is a crescent wrench. And then finally, a pipe wrench. Some of the materials you're going to need is yellow Teflon tape and yellow pipe thread sealant. We are going to be replacing a gas water heater that's 40 gallons. Make sure that you check the stickers to make sure that you're getting the exact same water heater if that's what your purpose is doing. The first thing we're going to do is turn the gas off. To do that, you turn it perpendicular to the line of the pipe. This gas is off now. The next thing we'll do, we'll take our crescent wrench and disconnect the gas line. To do that, just lift up and disconnect the gas line. You're just going to take it, get it out of the way. The next thing you'll do is turn the water off. Now we're going to take our water hose and just connect it to the drain valve at the bottom. Make sure that you run your water hose out of the room or the garage or wherever this is located for this to drain properly. Now you take your screwdriver and you open this up to let it start draining. Next thing you want to do is to remove the vent cap, and for this you have to unscrew 2 screws or maybe 4. Now we just disconnect the exhaust and the cap itself, and it should just pull straight on out of the way. Let's see if it does or not. There we go. Now you'll be able to do this with both hands because you're probably not recording, but until that does, we're going to remove this here in a second. Now this is kind of close quarters here in this utility closet, so just going to show you here that what you can do with this pipe wrench is just disconnect the connection a little bit to give your hose some air to where it can drain the tank efficiently. Okay, a couple things I want to point out on this water heater. It is a natural gas, and let's see if you can see this. It has a space of 3 inches at the top. It is 58.5 inches tall, and then at the bottom it's got 19 inches across there. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. Let me show you how to open up a box where you don't get in trouble. Now when cutting a box for a water heater, they have a dotted line out here. So you just take your box cutter, make sure you're below that level right there, cut all the way around. So now we're ready to rock and roll. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is go ahead and wrap this nozzle right here, and this actually goes into my connector for the overflow valve. Alright, so what I'm going to do is hold this in my right hand, because usually when you turn, this is going to be this way, you're going to turn clockwise. So I take the tape and I'm going to start it here like so and hold it down until I make all the way around. So I'm going to keep turning it clockwise, just like I'm going to make the connection. Okay, so I'll go around just a couple of times and then it looks like this. Okay, then I take this and then turn it clockwise into its place. I'm going to make sure it's seated first before I start. You have to wiggle it around just a little bit. There it is. Go ahead, start turning this. I'm going to get that nozzle out of the way. Then I use my crescent wrench and turn it, keep turning it clockwise into the nozzle, okay, into the fitting. So it looks like I'm going, from this perspective, it looks like I'm going counterclockwise. So it's not, it's actually from the perspective of it going in, it is actually going to be clockwise. So this is not a, like that, a very crucial and, you know, important part of this. Is not as important as getting the things out of the nozzle up here done. We're going to talk about that in just a few. All right, so that's ready to go. Now that we've got the water heater up here, this is a two-person job because I had to get it up about 2 feet into the water closet, or the utility closet as I call it. So now we're ready to connect the both hot water here, the cold water on the other side. Make sure that you read down here below. It says hot. It's very important. And of course over here it says cold. Alright, and so that's where we've connected our water supply line cutoff valve. So here when you are getting this seated, you've got to make absolute sure that you have everything seated before you start going too far, because you can strip these threads. Now this is about as far as I can go here on the cold water side. What I've done on these threads, by the way, is put compound on both of them, on both threads, on both nipples, and then also I went ahead and put Teflon. And again, I wrapped it, because I'm turning it this way, I wrapped it accordingly. Alright? If you do it backwards, it's gonna come off, it's gonna back out, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna seal very well. Now what I do here is take my crescent wrench. I've already have it set. When using a crescent wrench, you want to take it and put the small part to the direction you're turning. I'll do that as a general practice. And please forgive me, I'm working with one hand and recording with the other. So just take this, turn it until it feels snug. Do not cramp down this thing. You don't need to use both hands or anything else like crazy like that. But you do want to make sure that you're going to get a good seal. Alright, that's pretty good there. I'm going to go ahead and do this one here, and then we're moving on to the next step. Okay, so it's a little noisy right now, but what we've done is turn the water on into the tank on the cold water side where the cutoff valve was. So we turn that water cutoff valve on, and now what's happening, all this noise, is the air being discharged from the inside of the tank that's now filling up with water. So I'm going to leave this on until I get a steady flow of water. That way I know everything is working well as far as the flow of water into the house. Okay, so the next step is to anchor down the housing for the exhaust. And so there's two straight edges here and on the other side, and then there's two places for screws to go in here and on the other side there in the back. Alright, so this happens to be the kind that you twist. It was kind of fun working with it, but you twist it and make the elbows and make it go the way you want to. Then you lift it up and set it just inside on top of the lip there as well. And then this right here, these little sections of metal, they actually have slots for them to fit into. And then we're set now. So the water is back on. The water valve is on right there. And of course there's no leaks. So that is a plumber's dream. No leaks at all. Alright, so now we're ready to go and put in the electrical. Now we're ready to go in and put the connections together for the gas line. Okay, so now that I'm ready to do the gas line, reconnect or connect it to the new water heater, I didn't have a nipple to it. So what I did is, since I'm replacing an old water heater with the new one, I just went ahead and got the old one off and I've cleaned it up. Alright, so it's ready to go. What I'm going to use again, first off, is the compound, and this is for water and gas. It's yellow coming out. I'm just going to get some on my finger like so, and I'll show you how I do it. So I just put it on there like so and work it all the way around like that. Okay, now here's the next thing I'm going to do. I've got some yellow tape, and it's rated for gas and water as well. So I'm going to take this, and as we did earlier, and I'm going to show you again how to wrap this. Because when I screw this in, I'm going to turn it clockwise. So like this, okay, into the unit. So what I'm going to do is hold some tape. I'm going to start at the bottom, okay? Alright, I'm going to start the bottom, turn it like so, and I'm turning it clockwise. See, I'm twisting it clockwise. So if you hold the tape still and just take the threaded part and do this a couple of times around, pull it real taut, and then it sticks. Alright, so now I've got a piece, the original piece, that what we call a nipple fitting. I'm going to put it into the casing there. Let's take a look at this now. Now I have the nipple edge right here, the nipple itself. It's going to go into this section right here, and let me do it with the other hand so you can see what's going on. So you want to make sure it's seated well before you start twisting it in. And I'm going to twist it as much as I can by hand here. Then I'm going to take my crescent wrench, so let me make an adjustment here. Good. And I'm going to take my crescent wrench and just tighten this up. And of course, anytime that you're working on delicate things like this, and I call it delicate because it's an alloy nipple, some sort of material, metal that way. But I'm going to do this right here and just do it where it's hand tight. And that's about all I'm going to do on it. Okay, now we're getting into even more critical things. So the gas line right here is still off. I've got the connection here. I'm going to head, and it's flex. All right, it's flexible. It's metal, and you do not put any tape or any compound on this end of the nipple. It's not needed at all. So I'm just going to take this, get it seated on there, and then get it situated. I'm going to take my crescent wrench here and just turn it one time where it is snug. You don't have to bear down on it or anything like that, because you'll strip out everything. So it's good. It's ready to go. Now, before I turn on the gas at all, I'm going to get ready for testing, and I'll show you what I'm doing there. Okay, so the next part here is very, very critical, and what I've done is got some soapy water in a cup, and I'm going to go ahead and turn the gas line on now so it's running in line with the line itself and not perpendicular anymore. And then I'm just going to squeeze some soapy water. Okay, so you can see a little bit better. There's no bubbles. And guys, take your time doing this. Don't be in a hurry, because this is crucial. Very, very critical that you get this right. And sometimes I just go all over, including the handle. So I'll make sure that there's no bubbles that are like, you'll see if there's an air or gas leak, it'll start blooping, is what I call it. Alright, so I'm satisfied there. Now I'm ready to go ahead and light the pilot. Okay guys, now I've read all the instructions, which I ask you to please read those instructions. If you need to read the instructions, go back to the garbage can and dig them out. Alright, so I have this now in the off position, and I'm going to turn it to the pilot position and hold it in. So I'm going to hold it in with my thumb, right like so, and then I'm going to hit the ignition button. I'm going to let it run just a little bit, and here's why. There's air in the line, so it's got to push that air out. And so I'll keep going like so until I'm satisfied, and once it's done, then a blue light will come on. So I'm just pushing this every time. There it is. Okay, so there was a blue light. Now you see the blue light. I'll hold it down just one more minute here. I'm going to let up. There it is. Okay. Alright, now that the blue light is blinking, which means it's okay. If it ever turns red, you've got to turn it off completely and restart. Okay? Okay, so I've turned this up to B. There's A, B, C levels, and of course very hot. I don't want it there because young children could be using this water here into the shower and bathroom area. So for good standard, put it to B, and that'll be sufficient. The final step for me is to reconnect this hose here. Alright, and the clamp back in its original position. And now we're set. Everything's good. Okay, there you go. There is the brand new water heater. By the way, guys, I don't know about you. I grew up in Texas, and I grew up saying hot water heater. Well, you don't heat hot water. It's already hot, right? So this is a water heater. It's a new word for me in living here in Texas. But I tell you what, if I can do it, you can do it too. Hey, we'll see you next time. By the way, before you go, I want to encourage you to check out my other videos, and you'll see a link below. Click on it, the 1,000th person. that subscribes to TheHandymanToolbox.com gets a free tool. Go ahead and register now. See you there.